Hey there, groovy dudes and dudettes. This is Stopper Be Thoppin', and in this video I'm going to go over my 3-month/25-hour review of the 2022 KTM XCW 300 with TPI. I'm a beginner, so this is going to be from a beginner's perspective. I'm going to go over some of my likes, my dislikes. I'm going to talk about what went into my decision-making process into getting here as a beginner on a 300, and I'll briefly talk about TPI, and I'll talk about what I wish I would have done a little bit differently if I had a second go around pursuing a brand new motorcycle. So I'm gonna mix in a bunch of action shots, and here we go. Here are my current likes with the bike. I apologize, it's really windy out here, so I hope you can hear me pretty good. But basically, number one, the build quality so far. The bike has been extremely durable. I'm a beginner rider, so you know, haven't kept her on two wheels all the time. Had a few run-ins with some trees and stuff, but so far the bike has held up really well. All the hardware and the frame and everything, and I've been really happy with it so far. I have added on quite a bit of protection. The bike is basically 100% stock except for protection parts and an FMF slip-on pipe just to get the spark arrestor in there. But yeah, really happy with the build quality, durability, and reliability at 3 months and 25 hours. So I'm also really happy with the stock tuning. Take my word with a big grain of salt, I'm pretty new to two-strokes, but I really like the way it rides. I don't feel like there's anywhere in the RPM range or anywhere in the throttle input from, you know, barely cracked open an eighth to full throttle where this machine is wanting more or wanting different mapping. So I'm really happy with the stock tune and whatever map they've got on these 2022s. I've heard that some of these brand new bikes, you could put two brand new ones that are identical side by side and they'll have slightly different characteristics as far as tuning goes. So maybe I got lucky, maybe the 2022s are finally on point and they don't have any issues with mapping. Number three, the aftermarket support. You go to a retailer, an online retailer like Rocky Mountain, and they have parts galore. You got your choice between multiple top ends. You can find any kind of like skid plates and handguards and replacement parts. Also, KTM is just an enormous manufacturer, so replacement parts are really easy to come by too. So that is a huge bonus for me. I kind of break things every now and then. It's nice to be able to replace them quickly. And the last thing would be, I absolutely love the power delivery. This I had never ridden one of these things before buying it. Any 300 two-stroke, any 250 two-stroke. I rode an 85 two-stroke as a kid. That was like a probably 90 something Honda. So I just kind of jumped in feet first. I tried it out, but the power delivery is very, very smooth. The luggability is legendary. I read all about that on the internet. Oh, these things are tractors. They lug like crazy up hills. You can just cruise. They're the lazy man's bike. Yeah, all that's true, and it's awesome. It's awesome. You can still wring this thing out, and if you give her the spurs, she'll kick on you. But the power delivery is really smooth, really smooth. Love that. Okay, dislikes. Kind of reaching here because I like this bike so much, but first and foremost is the price. These things are just stupid expensive. MSRP somewhere around like 10.4, 10.5 for these 2022s. We're in the middle of a pandemic, inventory short. Most people are paying MSRP. Some people are paying more. I found a good dealership who was being honest and just selling MSRP. So there's that. The entry price is pretty steep, and kind of in that vein, the resale value on these European bikes. I don't know if you take like if you take a 2022 Yamaha 250X versus this 22 KTM 300 XCW, and you take it 5 years later and you go to resell them. I'm not sure which one. Like, I think these European brands lose a bit more of their percentage of their resale value than some of the Japanese bikes do. I don't know. The market's crazy right now anyways, so who really knows? But number 3. This is just stupid, but I wish these ran off 87. Only reason being, I can't find 91 non-ethanol near me. There's like one place that's an hour away that sells 93 non-ethanol. So that's what I go get. I just fill up a bunch of jugs, and that's how I got to fuel this thing, because I'm kind of a stickler about putting non-ethanol in these, but that's just me. I live in a place where non-ethanol gas is kind of hard to find, so it's a little bit easier to find 87, but I get it. High compression bike, competition bike. That's just me being silly, really. Lastly, KTM says, you know, they got their whole, everybody makes fun of this. KTM is ready to race, right? This thing doesn't come with a skid plate. Nothing. There's absolutely nothing. Not even a cheap piece of plastic to make you like feel like you got something down there. So I get it. Everyone's gonna go and pick out the kind of skid plate that's gonna suit their needs and their riding style the best, but it doesn't come with a skid plate. Additionally, it comes with flag mount only hand guards, so flag mount only, and it's not like it's got breakaway levers either. So if you lay it down, you're probably gonna snap a lever straight away. Sorry about the wind. She's picking up. So ready to race. Yeah, after you go get like a couple more things. Okay, so in this section I want to talk about like a beginner's approach to getting a higher performance bike like this. I was looking for a bike that I could grow into. I basically just started riding this year, like for real. I rode around a little as a kid, never had a quality machine that I really had for any amount of time, and I certainly never like learned how to ride you know, by doing drills and proper body position and practicing and things like that. I would just get on anything I could find and go rip like any other country kid out there. So I wanted something that I could really grow into, because I love motorsports, and I knew getting a dirt bike is something that I was going to be really into, like much more long term than maybe some other hobbies you pick up here and there. But I wanted something I could grow into, something high performance. And I had a lot of hesitancy between the 2-stroke and 4-stroke thing. You know, there's countless people out there who just simply can't decide between the two. The last 2-stroker I rode was when I was, I don't know, 12 or 13 years old, and it was like a Honda 85 or something like that. I forget. I've only ridden a couple as a kid, and I'm much more familiar with four strokes and their power delivery and their maintenance intervals and things like that. So I was looking around for a 2021 YZ250FX, but because of the inventory problems, never found one, which gave me a little bit more time to think about this whole two-stroke thing. And there's too many people on there talking about how awesome they are in the woods. I'm on the East Coast here, so I'm in the woods, I'm in the mountains, and I wanted to get into hare scramble racing a bit more, so I just said, let's go for it. And I have absolutely zero regrets. So if you're on the fence between two-stroke and four-stroke, like countless other people are, just do it. Just do it. You'll be so happy. Especially with the fuel-injected and oil-injected bikes. There's less of a learning curve as far as like maintenance and having to blip the throttle and mixing fuel and things like that. So more on that in a little bit. But so I kind of pretty quickly outgrew that 2021 Honda CRF 250F. Did I master it? Absolutely not. But there were times where I could tell I wanted more bike. The suspension travel was really the biggest thing. I found myself riding more aggressively than I really thought I would. And I'm not knocking those Honda CRF 250Fs. I think they're brilliant bikes, especially at the price point. You just can't go wrong with that thing. If I could have two bikes, that'd be my second, possibly. So I was really hesitant about the power at first. This 300 is still very much a snappy two-stroke, and so it's got that peak power. You know, I don't know, around, what is it, like 7,000 RPM. I don't think it revs out too high, but it's still got that snappy peak power. I've whiskey throttled this thing a few times, and I've been lucky to where I didn't get myself hurt, but it's been a learning curve. My first few times on the thing, I definitely took it way easy, but I even surprised myself by how quickly I got used to the power. So if I can do it, you can too, for sure. You get used to the power band and the rev range and just how it comes on, and once you get the clutch work down, this is an easy bike to ride around in the woods. Just a couple quick comments on the TPI. I really love not mixing gas at all. Just makes it easier to go by it if you're going on trips and things like that. It's just less to deal with. The oil reservoir in there holds about 6 ounces, and it lasts, I think KTM says 5 full tanks approximately. So I love not mixing gas. That's a real benefit, and I get why KTM had to do this because they're a larger manufacturer and their numbers of units sold. They kind of ran out of their I don't know what you want to call it, their allotment of bikes that they could build that were just straight carbureted. So other manufacturers will be going to something like this in the future, and yeah, I mean, I get why they had to do it. At least they're still making them, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. I've heard some horror stories about the oil injector going bad and all of a sudden your engine seizes, because it's not going to indicate to you if you have a bad oil injector. So yeah, it's just a risk I'm willing to take, but for every horror story you hear, there's probably 20, 30, 40, 50 other bikes that just have zero problems at 200, 300 hours. So mine's been great so far. We'll see how it goes long term. Section I want to talk really quickly about what I would have done a little bit differently approaching this purchase, and that would be just to try and ride more bikes prior to making the purchase. I'm really happy with my purchase. Like, I would do it again, but I didn't ride the thing before buying it. I didn't ride any two-stroke before buying it. I didn't even go out and ride any of the four-strokes I was looking at, like the YZ250FX. So I would highly encourage you to look for some of the like the manufacturers' event days where they bring a bunch of bikes and you can go test ride them. Or if you've got friends who have bikes, even if they're somewhat similar, maybe not the same model year, maybe the gearing's a little bit different, whatever, try and ride it and get a feel for it. I think that would have been really beneficial. I really like the XCW's low gears. Gears 1 and 2 are what give it, or they're a little bit lower, and that's what gives it that wide ratio over the 300XC from KTM. And that has definitely saved my butt on some hill climbs where I stalled out halfway up, whatever, and I could just restart and just lug right up. That was pretty cool. But sometimes I wonder if the XCW with the softer suspension may not have been the right choice. Again, I'm happy with the bike, but I wonder sometimes if the XC might have been the better bike for how I'm using it, since basically I'm just racing hare scrambles and riding single track and stuff. So something to consider. But yep, go out there, ride some bikes if you can, and really try to identify what you anticipate, what conditions you anticipate riding in. Are you going to be racing, jumping, just cruising real slow with your kids, whatever? Just adventure riding. Really think about that, then go ahead and make your purchase. All right, so that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll do like a 1-year review when I'm a little bit of a better rider and I don't got to put up all this embarrassing footage. But I love the bike so far. We'll see how it goes. I'm just going to keep racing, keep riding. Thanks.